Game changer on the farm, y'all. Game changer. You know what? I really like new toys. And I really like them when they're a game changer for the farm. You know, this last week we had a series of bad weather events that came through our area. What if the storms that came through, a tornado came along and wiped out the power lines? What would we do then? How about if you simply want to live off grid for a while? Are you prepared to do that? Well, it just so happens that right before all this took place, a company called All Powers reached out to me and said, hey, do you think that this would benefit the farm? Hey, I didn't have to think twice because I started thinking about all the things that I could do with a completely renewable power source. I mean, from the house, if something were to happen to the power, to the incubators, to the brooder house, to the greenhouse, to the barn, to the cabin off in the back. Just simply hooking a refrigerator and freezers up so that our stuff doesn't spoil. I mean, there are a lot of stuff that we could do with a solar generator power station.
When we put power on the barn, we used solar panels, we used an inverter, if you guys will remember, and we also used a battery to charge. So let me tell you the benefit of having a solar generator compared to having the big unit. First of all, the big unit is stationary. We built a frame and a rack. We brought the panel in. We put the panel on a movable platform that we could adjust it to the sun, and it's stationary. But with everything else that we have going on the farm, there are several places that we don't have power to, and one of them being the cabin, or one of them being the greenhouse. This thing is a alternative power source for places that you don't have alternative power. So if you'll think about it, with the barn project that we done when we used solar panels and we had an inverter and charge controllers and we had batteries in the barn, all of that stuff, this unit is a portable unit that does exactly the same thing, except with this unit, I can bring this unit in the house. It comes with two 200-watt solar panels, and 200 watts is a pretty good amount of wattage output from a device like this. The one that we have on the barn project is a 100-watt panel. So this thing comes with the capability of putting at least two out of the box 200-watt apiece solar panels on this charger. So inside the charger itself, it has all the exact components that the solar charging station that we put on the barn does. It has a built-in lithium-ion battery that can hold a charge up for a very long time. It's a 2,000-watt power station. So I want you to think about, when you think about wattage, think about a 60-watt light bulb. How many 60-watt light bulbs could I turn on up to 2,000 watts? I could plug the coffee maker into this thing, and not only can I plug a coffee maker into it, but I can plug a refrigerator into it, I can plug a deep freezer into it, and it lasts for several hours once you use. So notice that it has 4 convenience outlets, 120 volt convenience outlets on top of the device. And out of each one of these 4 devices, I could plug 4 things in. I could plug a lamp, a fan, the microwave or the refrigerator or the deep freeze, and as long as I don't exceed 2,000 watts, I can use this thing for as much as I want to, up to that 2,000 watts. I need the refrigerator to run during power outages. I need the deep freeze to stay frozen to protect our food. This thing is awesome for being off grid or being without power or being at the barn or being at the cabin. The uses for this thing is endless. Here's another thing, it's clean. So it's not like running a gas-powered generator or a diesel-powered generator. This thing runs off of solar energy. So unlike a generator, a gas generator, I can't set it in the living room, or I can't set it in the kitchen and plug the microwave into it, or plug the deep freeze into it, or the refrigerator into it. But with this particular unit, it's a very clean, efficient power station. So I can set this in the house. I'm pro charging station.
We're going to test this thing. We're going to test it in the greenhouse because, you know, I have a heat mat in there, I have a fan in there, and I have some LED lights in there for growing lights. We're going to test it on the brooder itself. We're going to test it at the cabin. We want to know that this piece of equipment here will function exactly like we expect it to, with renewable energy, to keep our appliances going in the case of power outage due to storm or the geomagnetic storm that the sun is going through right this minute. It gives beautiful night skies, but again, it could wipe out a power grid is what they're saying. So with that being said, we're going to test this G&G style, right, Tony?
G&G style.
All right, give me some of that. Boom. All right, so here we are at the archery range, and we have a full-size refrigerator here, as you can see. Okay, so we are going to plug in the refrigerator to the unit, and we are going to see what happens, if it will pull our refrigerator. So again, you'll push the button for about 3 seconds. Okay, so we've got the refrigerator plugged in here, and the battery is at 100%, and it shows that we're using AC power here. The AC light is also lit up, and it's showing 244 watts output at 60 hertz. Okay, so it is working, and if you hear now there's 0 output, it's because the refrigerator stopped, it cut off. I'll open the door here in a minute and you can hear it come back on. Now, when it starts pulling over a certain amount, I can't remember how much, you'll hear the fan come on in this box, and that fan again is right there. So let me go and open the refrigerator and see if I can get this to turn back on. All right, so it hit 433 watts output startup, and then once the compressor got to going, it's down to 144 with the fan and the compressor running.
Which is awesome.
That's amazing. The fan automatically kicked on. It's down to 136. You want me to close the refrigerator? Okay. So what we did there is we kind of forced it to come on because the refrigerator was so cold inside for the drinks that it took a minute for the refrigerator to actually get above the temps that I had set so that it would kick on. But once it did, it kicked right on, didn't it?
It did. It didn't struggle kicking on.
Y'all, this is running a refrigerator.
A side-by-side refrigerator.
And I'll show you that.
With a big freezer in the bottom.
If it wasn't so hot, I'd plug in the coffee maker and make a cup of coffee.
It's only pouring 122 watts or 120 watts. It still has 1,880 watts that you could use for something else.
That's 1,880 watts that we can use for anything else, like a cup of coffee,
Absolutely.
deep freeze,
Easy.
lights.
That thing would easily pull that.
It literally fits in that chair right there. All right, so let's look at the refrigerator. That is what this little tiny box is running. This huge refrigerator. Now, we also have a coffee pot. You want to just try to plug the coffee pot in and see what happens?
It's gonna come on. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, let's just see. I'm just interested to see if it's going to come on.
Okay.
All right, y'all, let's make a cup of coffee. If I can get it close enough. Turn it the right way. Okay, so it's on. Okay. Okay, let's do this size cup right here.
Okay.
That's what it's pulling.
So the coffee maker itself is pulling somewhere around 1,100 watts.
Isn't that what you said a while ago, about 1,100 watts?
Mm-hmm. So y'all can see that it's up to 1,268 watts. We were sitting at 120 with just a refrigerator. So just understand that a coffee maker pulls an excessive amount of wattage compared to other things.
But we've still got approximately
750 watts.
Yeah. We've still got. And you see that the battery has went down to 97%, pulling all this wattage off of it. So with the solar panel hooked to it, putting in 400 watts, or basically we could just be using.
The refrigerator would practically run off the panels by themselves.
See that what it's doing.
Now look how the wattage dropped back down. So once it heated the water up to maximum temperature, all of that wattage dropped back off. So now it's just going to pump the water.
Can you see it? With the solar panels hooked to it, it'll put it right back on there.
It'll put it right back in the battery.
It'll maintain. Okay, so we've got a cup of coffee to drink. Let's plug the refrigerator back into the wall, the coffee pot back into the wall. We'll get the unit and we will go and run another test. So now we're in the greenhouse and we're going to test the unit here in the greenhouse, because one of the most important things on G&G Farms is the greenhouse, because this is where everything starts, from the potager garden to the lazy garden to the fields in the back. So I need power in here constantly. I need to run the fan because you know how it gets warm in a greenhouse. But I also need to run the lights ahead and also the lights over here on the shelves for growing lights. So I want to hook up everything today and just kind of see, will this unit pull the load that I need it for? Because should something happen that we have to live off grid, or we have to have an external power source if something happens to the electricity, I need to be able to start my veggies in the greenhouse. So let's just hook this thing up and see if it works. And then we are going to hook up the solar panels to it. And let's see if a girl can do it. As you can see, I have the unit sitting on the stool right here. So let's start plugging some things in. Okay, so first things first, let's get a fan going. So I'm gonna hold down the power button, turn it on. I've got 93% battery. So I'm gonna have to hook those solar panels to it at some point today. So let's turn on the AC. All right, I heard the fan kick on for a second. All right, the fan is plugged into this extension cord. So I'm gonna plug this extension cord in. And let's see what else we can do. All right, let's turn the fan on. We'll turn it on high. Okay, so it's using 33 watts output. So I still have like 1900 and something. So let's plug in some lights. Okay, lights came on. Lights came on. Okay, so now we've got 73 watts of output power. I still have 1900 and something. So let's plug in my heat mat because it's going a lot. All right, it's heating. So now we're up to 160 65. Okay, so 165 watts. That means it's pulling about 81 or so watts. Okay, so still have 1800 and something. So let's see. In the winter time, I use a heat light in here. When it gets cold overnight, I will run this heat lamp. We'll see. Plug it in there. Now I've got heat. So we're up to 258. So that means I've still got 1700 and something watts left. There's nothing else in here. Maybe the overhead light, but the cord's not long enough to reach. So we're looking at another 6 or 7 watts. That's going to be nothing. So I think that in the case, as a matter of fact, this might be where I use this unit, is in this greenhouse. Let's think about this. If it gets cold and I need heat on my chickens at night or my turkeys, I can plug in several heat lamps, several, and not use 1 ounce of electricity. I'm using renewable energy. I'll hook the solar panels up. It will feed into this, and I can use it at the same time. There is no reason that this will not work for G&G Farms. I'm so excited about this one, y'all. 272 watts of output with this heat lamp on, the lights on, the fan on, the heat mat on. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Okay, so let's see if there's something else that I can use this on at the farm here without having to use any electricity. This is just crazy. All right, let's go see if we can find something else. This heat lamp though, y'all, this is one of the best things. Wintertime for the flock, wintertime or fall, spring, early spring of the year for the greenhouse. I mean, and to not use any electricity. Y'all know how much electricity this burns. I mean, you know how your power bill goes up. My power bill is not. All right, so let's plug it in. Okay, let's turn the unit on. Okay, let's turn the AC output on. It's on, and it's heating. 233 watts output. Now, let me check on my phone and see what the phone says if we run it this long. It is 100% charged and running at the wattage that is currently outputting at 232 watts. It will last 4 hours and 40 minutes. I wanted to show you about how easy this unit is to hook up the solar panels. And the one thing that I wanted to say about the solar panels after looking at them, they're flexible. The possibilities are endless for them also, as far as where do I put the solar panels? Well, you're in luck, because these solar panels are flexible and you can lay them anywhere. So how about this? I'm going to lay it on the back of the side-by-side, because wherever I want to have this unit hooked up, whatever I'm running here on the farm, I've usually got the side-by-side with me. So I can just lay it on top of the side-by-side and use power directly from the sun, or use power off of this box here while the sun is recharging it. So let's get started. Let's hook one up and let's see what happens. So in the kit that comes with the solar panels, you have some straps. Well, you have these little holes right here that have grommets in them, And that is so that you can literally hang this solar panel from, you can hang it from the top of an RV, you can hang it from the trees, you can hang it from wherever you want to because it's totally flexible and movable. It is a portable power station. So the cords here are, wow, you cannot mess this up. Even a girl can do this. And I say that but I know that women can do a lot of things that men can do. But I say that because sometimes I can't. I want to, but sometimes I just can't. But even I can do this one. So, fits in it one way. And then you simply take the other end and put it in the input slot on the machine. It automatically turns on, and it is already charging, friends. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see this. I don't know if you can see that or not. So when the sun just came out from behind the cloud, the wattage, the input wattage went up. Okay, so right now we're getting about basically 126 to 127 watts in. You can see it's charging the battery. All right, we started at 91%. The more sun comes out from behind that cloud, the more input you get. Now, when we hook both solar panels to it, we're going to get a lot more than this. But I just wanted to show you what it was like with hooking the solar panel to it. Completely portable. I'm charging this in the yard without using any electricity. I'm using the sun. So I thought about other uses around the farm because I think that this is something that I'm going to be using every day of my life. So electric fence, on the garden lights. In the brooder house, it will be the brooders hooked up. Oh look, it went up to 92%. Y'all see that? It is charging the battery as we're watching it. On the house, if the power goes off, of course, we will plug in our refrigerators and our freezers. The incubators will run off of this. Okay, the sun kind of went behind a cloud, and look how it goes down. But it's still inputting 36 and 37, 35. When the sun comes out from behind the cloud, it'll shoot back up. So you can tell that it is totally working off of the sun. Okay, here comes the sun out a little bit. All right, a little bit more. Sun's coming out. Look at that. Totally sucking in that sunlight. So I have this on the back of my work buggy. You can put this solar panel anywhere. You can hook both of them up and have more energy coming from the sun at the same time. What more could you ask for? Even I can do this. That is what I love about this. So if you guys decide that y'all want to get one, I have become an affiliate for the company, and you can use my link. There's also a code to get a discount that is on the description of this video. I believe the code is GNG. So y'all go get y'all one. The possibilities are endless. I am so amazed by this box. Just amazed. It held up to Catherine. Y'all farm on.